Shalom, family. Right now we're in the cool of the day, meaning all the heat is behind us and we're going towards evening. We've been working out in the garden all day pretty much. Just kind of tidying up some things. Still got a little, well, not a little, a lot of work to do. But what we did here was we put this fence around the main garden area. And we had to do that for a number of different reasons, which I'm going to walk around and just kind of show you one of the reasons why we decided to do this. Because there are animals that live on this property that sometimes find their way out of their area and they end up in our area. And I got two of them right here. I caught them red-handed. Look at them. They don't belong there. They belong in their own area. But from time to time, they like to drift off into their area. See, they got caught. You got caught. Look at you. Both of y'all got caught. You know you don't belong over here. But here is where mommy finds you. Now you're keeping up ruckus. What you coming over here for? You got something to say? You going to try to defend yourself? Look at them. The white duck is kind of beat up a little bit. He got into a fight. What you coming over here to say? Actually, that's my mother's duck. The other one, Waddle Waddle, that's my baby. But as you see, they are frickin' frack these days. At first they didn't get along until the one that's limping, the white one, his twin died. Or should I say was killed by... I'm going to show y'all who killed him. The same one who beat this duck up. I'm going to point the culprit out. See if they're in hiding or if they're out in the open. Trying to spot him now. Where is he? Or she? We go back and forth not knowing what this... Ah, I see her. Or him. There they are. There's the culprit. Right there. Yep, it was her. My mom came out here the other day and the goose and the duck were just going to town. The poor duck got beat up, but my mom said she held her own. She was fighting, doing the best she could to hold her or stand her ground to this big bully right here. Now that big bully right there, that's my baby. We named him Sylvester, but because we're not sure if it's a girl or a boy, my mom renamed her Sylvia. I really don't care what it is, boy or girl, because we only have one, so. But anyway, that is the culprit. That is the one who killed my mom's other duck and beat the other one up pretty bad. See, they like to fight for territory. You see this pond right here, I guess the goose is saying this ain't big enough for all three of us. Now, I'll let this other duck stay here because we were born here together. They were both babies. We got them both when they were babies and they were pretty much raised together. And so the goose don't mind Waddle Waddle. But when we bring other ducks around, that's when she gets very territorial. And so we're going to have to do something about that. Don't know what. But I guess they solved it on their own. And their solution was they escape through these gates that we have throughout the garden. And they just find their way over here. So we said, okay, since you're going to find your way over here, we have to keep animals out of the garden area. For the most part, the ducks are not as bad as the chickens when it comes to tearing through your food. If a chicken sees a squash or tomatoes or anything like that, or a bunch of chickens, boy, I'm telling you, they'll tear through that food so bad. Look at them. I see them over there in the distance. Yeah, look at them. Yeah. Look at them. It almost makes me think that they know I'm watching them from all the way across the yard. Look at them. These animals are so comical at times. Always busy, on their way somewhere, doing something, up to something. Look at them. Look at them. Makes you wonder, where are they headed? Are they trying to come back into their own area now? Nope. They can't get back in their area because the gate is closed. So they're going back over that way, behind the small greenhouse. Look at them. Frick and frack, just following each other around. Always up to something. And I bet if I come over there, they're going to feel like I'm invading their territory. Or that I'm in their space. It's usually how this thing goes. These animals are so funny. So funny. And we were out here today just doing quite a few things. Getting some things in the ground. De-weeding. Putting up the gate. Yeah, look at them. Yep, I found them over here. But usually it's the chickens that you have to worry about the most when it comes to your food. The ducks, only a little bit. Only a little bit. But yeah, they're just over here. They want us to leave them alone. My son Shim just came out here to join me. I guess he wanted to see what I was up to. Hi, Shim.
Hi.
Wanted to see what I was up to, but I'm out here filming these little sneaky weekies right here who are out of their area again. I guess they're trying to escape the wrath of Sylvester, Sylvia, whatever her or his name is. I'm sure with a simple Google search we can find out once and for all if that's a male or a female. Some of you may be able to tell just by looking at it.
Usually the boys have color, but like that white up and a brown one, brown and green one.
Okay. Well, like I said, a little Google search will help me to determine. Like I said, I really don't care either though. Whether it's a girl or a boy, it's mommy's baby, but she's being bad, beating up Nano's duck. And so I guess our duck, Waddle Waddle, is kind of, hanging out with his own species right now, even though he was born around the same time as that goose there, and that they were raised together from babies. We've had them, I'd say, about maybe 4 years, somewhere around there. But I guess he feels the need to protect this poor baby right here since he got beat up pretty bad. My mother was upset at the goose. She said she better keep her hands off of her baby or she's going to spank that goose if she beats her baby up again. And what can I say? What can I say? That's her baby. The goose is mine. But I do not condone that type of behavior, especially since she already took the other one out. Well, anyway, I actually came out here to do some garden stuff, talk about some of the things that we have planted, but just kind of got sidetracked by those creatures in my garden, or in an area that they shouldn't have been. They were actually over by the potato bin that we planted a couple of months ago. And many of you saw when we were first cutting the potatoes and putting them in certain areas, and we have some in containers, and we also have them here. This is the main area. Okay, some of them are even flowering, but for the most part we kept adding the soil with the mixture of ash and wood chips. And so we've gotten to the point where we can't add any more unless we add more slats to the side. Which we probably won't do that. We'll just harvest from what we have when the time comes. Yep. And also, I guess since I'm doing this, I may as well update on the seeds as well. As you see, all of the pods are just pretty much in full bloom. The fence is making it harder to reach things, but these are kale pods. Okay, they're not quite ready for taking off and harvesting as of yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we did with some of them. Okay, these are the kales. Now these are not ready either, but these herbs are forming their seeds as well. And this is our rhubarb, in which we have a lot of really nice big leaves yet and still. I wish I was on the other side of this fence. Let me go around to make it easier. But yeah, we still have many really nice big leaves, rhubarb, and some of you know it as Swiss chard. Different varieties. Okay, but at the same time, they are forming their seeds. Seeds are good. It continues life. Now, believe it or not, these came back from last year. I love it when the plants come back from the previous year, still give you more food. And what happens also, I'll show you what happened over here. This is where we had turnip greens last year. And so since we didn't take the seeds off in time, you see all of these, all the pods, we didn't take the pods off in time. All of these seeds just recast themselves to the ground. Okay? And so they're starting all over again. So this is what would happen in the wild if no one planted certain things. They would seed up and they would redeposit and just continue the life cycle. And this is what has happened. This is what we see happening right here. The same thing happened over here. In this bin, we had some delicious cherry tomatoes. Okay, there's some weeds in here too that we have to get out. Like this, this is horse weed, which is very beneficial. We can leave it if we want to. And this right here is lamb's quarter, which the children, they always ask, can we just leave those, because they like to eat those for lunch sometimes. But these tomato seeds found their way in this dirt from last year, and they are starting all over again. Again, it's that cycle of life. Same thing happened with this bin over here. Now we have corn planted here in this long bin, and they're just now starting to show up. But right here, tomatoes. Now they did start de-weeding around the tomato plants. You can still see some there, but here are the ones that they took the weeds from around. So in a very short time, these aren't as big as the other bin over there, but in a very short time you're going to see this area pretty much taken over by tomato plants. Now look at this lettuce here. This is like a sea of lettuce, in which we had a lot of this for the event. Different kinds of lettuce, of course. But yeah, we had this kind and this kind here. We had some kale. Then we had this really pretty lettuce right here, very colorful. You can see some lamb's quarter mixed in there as well. Like I said, the children, they don't like us to take those up because they like to mix that in other greens and eat that as well. And then of course we have our scallions growing right alongside. Okay. Then the peach tree is in need of some pruning. It's in need of some pruning. We're gonna have to do that, and Sophia is going to make her first attempt at doing some grafts. I don't know if you can see all of the peaches that are forming on the tree. Here's one that is within arm's reach. They're still kind of young, but there are hundreds on this tree and the one up front.
Look at this one. It fell.
There's one that fell from the tree, so he's no good any longer. But if you look around, there are hundreds of peaches all over the tree. And then we have a pear tree, same thing, up front. Hundreds of pears. And then we have some other fruit trees as well. But this is what goes on around here. This is what goes on around here. We love gardening and farming and, you know, all that good stuff. And we will be expanding soon. Oh, the grapes. Can't forget about the grapes. And then these pods here. These are collards. You see how these are? They're not quite ready to come off as of yet. But you see how full this is? This is just some of them. This is why thousands of seeds can be gathered. Look at that. Each one of these pods has quite a few seeds, up to 20 or more seeds per pod. You see that? And so you can imagine how many seeds this is going to be when we gather all of this. Look at this. All of this is from last year. We have areas where we have other things growing. This is why it's important to have as much space as you can. You see that? Because we want it to be able to retrieve our seeds, and so these bins that they're in, we won't be able to use these, I would say, at least for another month. So we have things in cups growing that we'll be able to transplant in a while, in a bit, about a month or so. But look at all of these seeds, all of these seeds, all of those. Cycle of life continues. The food chain continues. This is a blessing. Look at that right there. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a bee right. Let me see if I can focus in on that. It's kind of hard to do that sometimes, but anyway, there's a bee doing its job, going from flower to flower, doing what they're supposed to do. Now, one last thing, and then I am going to be finished with this video. But our grapevine this year decided to show out. Look at that. It seems like it has tripled in size and branches and vines, and look at all of those. They're very young yet and still, but this grapevine is doing pretty good. Pretty good. Look at that. This is just one side of it. It goes all the way around on the other side as well. But when you're thinking of gardening, you want to think of things that come back every year. Because gardening is not just going to be a hobby. If you're paying attention to what's going on with the economy, it's going to be a necessity. Not just a hobby, but a necessity. Look at this. Look at all those little grapes. Very young yet and still, but doing what they're supposed to do. They're vining all over the place. Give it another couple of years and we may have to add to this trellis to accommodate all of the grapes. Now this pond, it needs to be skimmed out, but you can see, you see that? See, the leaves fall in there quite often, so we're going to have to skim it out. But you can see the goldfish in there, and they are multiplying really fast. We have to give some away from time to time. We have a net to scoop them out, but the goldfish are there to keep down the mosquitoes. That is their purpose. They keep down the mosquitoes. That is what they do. They keep down the mosquitoes. And the water is rich in nitrogen. And so we have a pump that we put in the water to feed the garden. See how green that water is? You just put the pump in and you feed your garden. So there's a lot of tricks and tips and things that you can do in trying to start your farm or your garden, no matter how big or small. A lot of tricks and tips of things you can do. This used to be a blank slate when we first moved here. Nothing but open grass, and as you see, we have transformed it over the years, and we are growing out of the space now, and we'll be expanding, but this will continue to be a working farm. How can I help you, sweetheart? Why don't you go ask someone in the house like Papa or Sophia or Rebecca, because I'm busy making a video, okay? I think it's so funny how my little ones, they will come and ask me things when they can just ask Papa, or they can ask one of the older ones. But I guess it's just in a child's nature to ask Mommy. Mommy has the answers to everything, it seems. But I think I'm going to go ahead and end this. Just wanted to do this walk. And one more thing. Forgot about this little fella here. This is a Fiji apple tree. And as you see, the apples are starting to form on here as well. Okay. Very tasty apples, by the way. One thing we like to do is at the base of our trees, we like to plant like cucumbers or tomatoes or something like that. And what you'll see towards the middle of the season, you'll see cucumbers or tomatoes that are kind of like vining up the branches. This is a very small tree, but it has a lot of apples on it. You'll see them vining up, climbing up the tree, and you can literally pick cucumbers or tomatoes off of the branches because they're going to just kind of mix right on in. That one over there, the peach tree, I believe we put tomatoes under there. But this little bitty Fiji apple tree, we put cucumber plants under here. So, yeah, real shortly we will see cucumbers coming up the tree or climbing up the tree. I think I'm serious this time. Going to go ahead and cut this video off and say shalom to my family. Until next time, bye.